What if your teen's biggest challenges could actually become their greatest strengths? How do unconditional self love and forgiveness transform the way that we experience life? And what is Imagineering and why is it important for parents and teens? Well, today I am joined by Dr. Blythe Metz-Mändmets. She is a metaphysician, author of Dear Teenager, You Are Amazing, and a holistic healing coach who helps youth and adults alike quantum shift their health and happiness. We're going to dive into some or all of her 5 keys to creating a life you love. And if you're ready for fresh tools to help your teen thrive and maybe even transform your own life, this episode is for you. So, hello and welcome to the show.
Hi, Cynthia. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you.
Well, I am so excited that you reached out to me. I love meeting new people, and you are a perfect addition to the show and what we talk about. But first of all, I would like to ask, what is a metaphysician?
Absolutely. So, we're all familiar with the term physician, right? A doctor that works with the body. Well, a metaphysician is someone that works with the energy, the mind, the emotions, and the body. So, I help people step into their unconscious, remove their blocks, work with their energy so that they create health, vitality, happiness. So, it's the unseen. It's working with the unseen instead of the seen to improve the seen.
I love that so much. And it's really just been, well, probably in my later adult life was when I started hearing about energy more and learning about how all of that works. But I never really realized until I started hearing about it that I have always felt like the energy shifts with people.
Hmm.
And now that and I haven't studied up on it a lot, but I can feel almost like the energy of the room when I'm with people. I can tell kind of like where it is. And I think that's really helpful in our kind of work where we're helping people and we're trying to get people to have their best lives, where if you can feel those shifts or you can feel that something's lower, like how you can step in there and help them. So I think that that
Yeah.
totally makes sense.
Well, we all have those senses, but we're not taught that we do. We're only taught the
Yeah.
physical senses, but we have the non-physical senses as well. And
Mhm.
we all feel it. I mean, you're right. It's like, when you walk into a room and there's been an argument or there's been tension, or when there's
Mhm.
been joy, we can feel all, we know if we're around someone that's not for our highest good, even if we don't know them, we're like, ooh, I teach my kids, it's
Mhm.
like read energy because that fear of like, don't talk to strangers, and it's really hard when you're like raising kids and they like want to talk to other people's parents at the park. And, you don't want to put that fear on them, like, don't talk to strangers. But it's like,
Mhm.
read the energy because that's when you
Yes.
know if you can talk to people that you don't know is read the energy because we all can. Yeah. We just don't
Mhm.
have a context for it.
Yeah. Well, I remember telling my daughter that, when I think she was late elementary, maybe middle school, she was around this guy a lot. Well, he went to our church, unfortunately, and he she would say, I feel really yucky when I'm around him," and
Mm,
I said, "Pay attention to that.
that's
When
right.
you feel that feeling with any person, girl or guy or whatever, just that means you probably need to not be alone, and maybe need to distance yourself or not spend very much time with that person if you can." And I remember thinking, I want her to know because no one told me that I could feel that or that meant something, or I didn't want
That
her
was
to
a
think she had
message.
to be nice to everybody if
Right.
you felt scared or if it didn't feel right. So, and I think there's more and more of that now where they're teaching kids you don't have to do what adults tell you if it's something scary or something, like it's a secret or whatever and I think that's a great way to teach kids instead of like do what adults tell you to do or whatever, because not all
Absolutely.
all adults are going to tell
Right.
you
Right.
good things. Mhm.
They're not right. There we have our own guidance system. It's part of the guidance system.
Yes.
And when we know that that's communication, how we feel in somebody else's presence is actually communication. And this ties into anxiety so beautifully because so often what we're seeing, especially in teens, is they've not only not been taught to honor that as communication within them, but they've often been taught to not listen to it, to ignore it. Like the way that we've set up so many aspects in the conditioning of our culture, it it dismisses that communication entirely. And so they're left with anxiety because they don't have the
Mhm.
guidance system within them. They're not attuning to their own intuition in regards to making choices, in regards to friends. It's like, you know what, if you don't feel good around someone, don't try to be your friend. That's like, that's the
Mm.
helpful hint that says, okay, you know what? They're not meant to be, to be friends, and that's okay. Really
Yes.
teaching every every child that who they are is perfect. Who they are is
Mm.
exactly who they're meant to be. When I give talks at high schools, I always say we are the great paradox of the human is that we are all the same and that we are all unique. Like we're supposed to be so unique that, and weird is good. Like if you feel like you
Mhm.
are so different than everyone else, like that's your genius. That's awesome. But also we're all the same in that we all want to feel accepted. We all want to feel
Mhm.
comfortable at school. Nobody
Mhm.
wants to go to school and feel like they have enemies or people that they're, not jiving with. We all want that. So let's just have that, like that's what's so
Mhm.
great. Like, when I give a talk at a high school and I just call it out, it's like, hey, guess what, we all get to choose right here that everybody feels comfortable at school, that this is a safe place for everybody to shine in their most unique way, because let's celebrate how we're each unique.
Mhm.
It's not like, oh, that person's weird. It's like, wow, that person's weirdness is gonna save the world one day, or is going to create
Mhm.
something that has so much value to other people. And
Mhm.
just calling it out. Yes, be weird. And yes, we're all the same.
Mhm.
Let's just all be good to each other so that we all can feel comfortable, especially in the confines of a school environment where when you're at odds with someone, there's nowhere you can go. That person is just
Mhm.
there every day. And as adults, we know that that's not comfortable. As adults, we don't like that. We don't want to
Mhm.
have to be put in a small room with someone that we're at odds with. And so, kind of just helping, and this ties in really to the first key of self-love. It's like when we can all truly and deeply have unconditional self-love for ourselves, then that allows us to just have unconditional love for everyone and just let everyone be who they are.
Mm. I love that. And so in your book, you're probably teaching like how to go about that self-love. How do you have it? How do you show other people love in that context?
Yeah, so unconditional self-love is so crucial to our health, to our vitality, to our happiness, to our ability to have success in the world, is our feeling of self. Like it comes down to that feeling of self. But we're not taught to have unconditional self-love. In fact, we're taught the opposite. It's like, don't be self-centered, don't just think about yourself, and of course we need to be conscious of everyone else's feelings and all of that. Is this having unconditional self-love isn't narcissistic. It's not saying
Mhm.
nobody else matters. No, of course not. It's honoring thyself, right? And I think the best way
Mhm.
to teach that to the teens is to model it. And for
Mhm.
a parent to model that, it's taking care of yourself, being kind, showing up as love for yourself and for your teen. And that's the first step, is modeling that. And then also like real tools of asking, if someone's struggling with depression or anxiety, and if they can just sit and ask the question, what does it feel like to love myself more? They don't have
Mhm.
to know the answer. They can just sit and feel it and let that higher knowing flood their system with the feeling. What does it feel like to love myself more, to have unconditional self-love? And the
Mhm.
first time someone might sit and ask that, it might be hard to feel into it because our brains are so distracted, right? There's so many things going
Mhm.
on. There's shorts now. I always tell my daughter, do not ever watch these shorts. Kids are watching these shorts like crazy that are talking about one thing while they're showing a visual of another. And not only is the visual not matching the audio, but there's two separate videos. So it's split screen showing two different random things while it's a story about something entirely. Kids are watching these shorts and it's teaching their brains even more how to be fractured. So you're not focusing on
Oh.
one thing. And in order to create anything in life, anything new, we have to be able to focus, right? And so even
Mm-hmm.
the thought of unconditional self-love coming back, it can be challenging to get the answer to those questions at first, but stay with it because you're building the neural pathways in your brain every time you sit, even for 2 minutes. Even if you sit
Mm-hmm.
for just 2 minutes and go, I'm going to feel self-love greater than I've ever felt it. Having the intention to feel self-love greater than you've ever felt it because you're allowed to be greater and greater and greater every day. You're allowed to feel greater love every day, and inviting that in makes all the difference.
I love that so much. I think about when I was hearing about more about the self-love and to kind of take it out of that narcissistic, they were saying, you're not thinking you're better than other people. You're just thinking you're equal with everyone else. Like my time is as important as the next person's time. Or, my ideas are just as important as my friend's ideas. And kind of keeping you loving what you're thinking, but also then still loving and thinking other people's things are important too. So I love that. And I
Absolutely.
try to teach that too with my clients and their parents. So
Yeah.
what is another key in your book?
So, and another one that we talk about is Imagineering, as you
Oh,
mentioned.
yes. Yes. Tell us about that.
Imagineering, this word has really only ever been used by the creative minds at Disney for what they use. They use that word Imagineering, but I'm using it in the context of the quantum field and our consciousness. And so there's a very famous experiment called the double slit experiment, where physicists were able to see that their observation of a particle turned it into, or their observation of a wave turned it into a particle. When they didn't have a camera observing it, a wave stayed a wave. So this double slit experiment has been redone over and over all over the world, and it is profoundly shifting to our worldview because it shows that what we observe changes what we observe. So when things are just waves, when we observe it, it becomes a particle. So in Imagineering, so this is to say our life, what we observe, we create. So in metaphysics, there's a tenet that says that you create what you're conscious of being. So if you're
Mm,
conscious of being left out, you don't have any friends, you're stressed about school, if this is your consciousness, then you're collapsing that reality more and more. And to, peel back the layers and sort of paint a picture, if you think that people don't like you in school, and you think whatever you think about how people feel about you, you're feeling that way actually repels them. Because now you're
mm,
over here, you're not showing up in your excellence. Hey, how are you? You're feeling insecure, you're not showing up. And so those people aren't drawn to you. And so, that's like how it kind of collapsed. We can see it right
mhm,
there working. But this is how our entire lives are created. We're always creating what we're conscious of being. So,
mm,
how do we use that to create a life we love? Well, we go, what do I want to be conscious of being? For a student, I want to be conscious of feeling comfortable at school. I want to be conscious of being confident. I choose to be confident. And the thing too with students, it's like, or with teens, it's like teach them that you can choose. You're not just this
mhm,
way. I'm shy. I'm awkward. Whatever thing. It's like choose how you want to be, and then by choosing that, by observing it consistently, you literally change how you show up in the world, and the world changes how it's reflected towards you.
mm. That I teach my clients the belief plan, and we envision what do you want to be at the end of the school year. You got the grades you wanted, you had the school year that was just like the perfect school year. Who is that person? How do you feel? What are you saying to yourself? And then we just reverse engineer it back to today. And that's exactly what you're saying. And I love that I
Engineering.
wrote this.
Yes.
I wrote this down. You create what you are conscious of being. And I didn't have the right words for it when I talked to them about, you're your future self, but it's
Yeah.
kind of like that same thing. And thinking
Yeah.
about like you kind of experience the world by what you're thinking. I had a student that came in one time and they said, I hate this class. I hate this teacher. this everything's the worst. I never want to go there. It's so terrible. I mean, everything bad they could say about it, they did. And I said, okay, I want you to go to that class today. And I only want you to see what you like about that class. What is interesting? Is there someone in there you like? Does the teacher teach anything that's interesting? Does, like just only see the good stuff because when you tell your brain, I'm going to look for the stuff that's good, the stuff I like, then your brain is searching for those things and it's going to bypass the stuff that doesn't fit what you're thinking about, which is this is terrible and I hate it. And it doesn't mean that something won't happen, you won't get in trouble, somebody's annoying, whatever. But you're going to go into the room in a different energy than you were going into it, and you're gonna have a different experience when you're there. So I just love that. This so fits
Fantastic.
with everything that I teach.
Yes, and
Okay.
that's the reticular activating system in our brains. I mean, we have like 4 billion bits of information being thrown at us all the time, so our brain has to filter it. And so what you just
Mhm.
said is like hacking the reticular activating filter of your brain. You're telling your brain what to filter today. I'm going to
Yes.
look at you know the things that I
Mhm.
want to see that and that's another metaphysical tenet is look for what you want to see.
Mm, I like that. I'm gonna write I'm writing all these things down. This is so good for me.
I'm glad.
Um, okay, look for what you want to see.
Yeah, that's what we
Is
want to do.
that
Also, like
another
I heard once from Sonia Choquette. She's a amazing author, intuition writer. And one thing that I love that she said is she said, all day long, just go around saying, I love that. I love that. I love that. And since I heard her say that, the joy that that brings to my day as I'm walking around my world and I see a flowering tree and I'm like, I love that. And I see a mom and child holding hands walking. I love that. I see, a Mercedes G-Wagon. I love that. I see, it's like you
Yeah.
see a fig tree. I love that. And the energy, see, because what we're creating, again, it's like we're always creating what we're conscious of being. So the energy in the system, when we're flooding love, we're projecting love. That becomes the frequency because we really are radio antennas. We are projecting broadcast at all times. And the world collapses in congruence, in coherence with our broadcast. And so when we're on
Mhm.
purpose broadcasting love and goodness, well, then the world definitely shows up different.
Yeah. Oh, and that's so encouraging too, because when we get down on, the meanness of the world or this
Mhm.
bad stuff is happening or whatever, I've always felt like, I can't change all of those things that are happening, but I want the people that experience my corner of the world to feel love and care and calmness. And so I think that is like being the change you want to see. I want the world to be love and kindness and calmness. And so I'm going to project that in my area. And I know that it spreads out from there. I know that
Yes.
people appreciate that about me, even if maybe they're not so much that way. They can kind of borrow it from me sometimes, which I want to be that person.
Isn't it great that you can see that too? That's also your intuition. Like you're aware when it's like you're serving others with your light, which you're always serving others with your light. Your podcast is so fantastic. Your light that you shared a year and a half ago is still serving people now, which is so wonderful, So you're
That's good.
always sharing your light. And that
Hmm.
is true that for people that think that it's not okay to have joy and have love while there's wars, the Gaza Strip's awful. Ukraine, there's so many awful things happening, but
Hmm.
we have to contribute light because as we
Yes.
contribute more light, we're literally raising the vibration of the planet. And so it is our
Hmm.
job, those of us that are aware, to keep flooding with light. Because I heard someone say once, if someone's bleeding and you cut yourself and bleed next to them, how is that going to help them? So if
Yeah.
we just spend the day sad about the awful things that are happening in the world, if we just spend our time, like if we let it get us down, then we're just cutting ourselves and bleeding next to someone. And what is that doing good?
Yeah. Oh, that's so true. That makes me feel better because sometimes I feel like since I'm not just getting in there fighting everything and being angry all the time, then I'm not really doing anything. But
You're doing
I could
something by
I can
giving
do
love.
it with something that feels good to me, which is loving people and caring for people, which is what I've been doing my whole life. So it's good to hear that I can I can make the change in a way that feels good to me, which
Yeah.
is what
And you
what
are.
I'm doing.
Yeah.
I
You're
That's good.
magnifying your light. Yeah.
I love that. Okay, so we've had self-love and we're doing Imagineering, we're creating, and we're looking for what we want to see in the world. What
Yes. Yes.
else?
So another key in my book is unconditional forgiveness. And this is so
Mm,
important. There's been so many institutions that have spent millions and millions of dollars studying how forgiveness makes you healthier and happier. And so in the context of teens and adults, we have to forgive the mistakes we've made and allow everything in the past. It's like not just forgive it, but true forgetting so that we can get in
mm,
the present moment because the biochemistry changes in our body. And so the biochemistry is what creates healthy cells, right? And so
mhm,
when we are resenting, when we have a resentment or a stress of any way, we're in fight or flight biochemistry. So it literally, our body's biochemistry is changed if we hold
mm,
grudges, if we stay in resentment. And when we forgive and we decide to just have peace, that biochemistry is then different and we regenerate optimally. So
mm,
it's so important for physical health, for the physical health of our body, as well as our emotional health and our relationships and our happiness to truly forgive and forget. And there's that old adage that says, you can forgive, but you never have to forget. And
mm,
I say that that is wrong. You need to forgive
mhm,
and you need to forget. And that's not to say ever to ever let anyone do anything that hurts you. No, of course not.
mhm,
You put up a boundary and you don't have to engage ever with someone that's not honoring and respecting you, of course.
mhm,
Um, but if you hold on to the past, like, oh, I forgive it, but, and you are still plugged into
mhm,
that pain in any way,
mhm.
then that's it. You're still plugged into it. So we need to
Yeah.
forgive, we need to forget, we need to get into the present moment. I know that, in parents that I work with, a lot of them have to come to terms with like, oh my God, I made a lot of mistakes. I
Mm,
parented as a bully. I thought that I was helping my child to stay on the right path, but I completely alienated my child. My child, I don't know what they're doing now. They won't talk to me, and there's all these things, and it's like we just need to get the parent and the teen on the same page of forgiveness, truly let it all go
mhm,
and decide
mhm.
right now what kind of relationship do you want to have with your teen and with your parent. And both of you get
Mhm.
to decide that. I have people can opt in. We can put the link in the show notes to get my it's called the Connection Blueprint, 10 Keys to Thriving Parent-Teen Relationship.
Yes.
Gives ideas for ways that parents and teens can reevaluate and decide what kind of relationship they want to have.
Mhm,
It's how
mhm,
liberating is that to be like, you know what, I want to have a connected, fun relationship with my teen. And a teen be like, I want to have a connected relationship with my parent where I talk to them about stuff. This is something I want to add in here. I'm in a lot of, parents of teen Facebook groups, and I hear a lot of
mhm,
stuff. And there's this like kind of thought that I'm not supposed to be my teen's friend. These are
mhm,
frustrated parents that got, teens are not acting right. And I'm not supposed to be their friend. I'm supposed to be like the authoritarian. Da, da, da.
mhm,
And no, that's so wrong. Your teen is not your friend. You don't talk about
mhm.
your stuff with your teen, but you need
Right.
to be your teen's friend. You want
Mm,
your teen to come to you with problems about their friends, with interests. You want to know when they're interested in someone romantically.
mhm.
You want to know all this stuff so that you can just love them and hold space with them. You want them to feel safe coming to you. So I
Yes.
that comment is like, I'm not supposed to be my teen's friend, is not helping your
Yeah.
teen be healthier or happier, and it's not helping you be healthier or happier. It's not helping the
Mhm,
relationship. I feel I teach the most important thing is the relationship, like
mhm.
connection first. Connection.
Yeah.
Trisha Fali Sambari says connection before correction, and I love
I
that.
love that.
Right?
Mhm,
Connection before
mhm.
correction. We want to have a deeply connected relationship with our teens because you know
I
what?
love that.
When teens feel connected, supported, it gives it they don't have the anxiety and they don't
Mhm,
have the depression because they have
mhm,
parents have their back. And so many of
mhm.
our teens these days, they don't feel like their parents have their back.
Yep. Well, I know when I first start talking to any of my clients, if they have a good feeling about their parents, they like their parents, they feel trusting of their parents, I immediately don't really worry about them. Like I'll help them through the things and we'll talk about stuff, but I know that they're going to be fine because if they feel trusting of their parents and feel like their parents have their best interest at heart, there's hardly anything that can go wrong. Because even if
Mhm.
there are things that happen, they're gonna work it out with their parents, and their parents are the people that they most need to work it out with. And so I love having those clients, but I always and I sometimes tell them when they tell me how much they like their parents, I'm like, "You know what? That is the secret sauce to getting through teenage life is
Yeah.
getting along with your parents and liking them
Yes.
and feeling good
Yes.
about them." And I always tell them, "You're so lucky to have that because a lot of
Yes.
people don't have that, but not that bad things won't happen sometimes, but you are gonna be able to get through it, and you're gonna feel better because you have that relationship with your parents." So, it is really important to repair that, and I like parents to know that even if they're on the wrong foot right now or things are
Yeah.
not going well right now, there are ways to fix it, and
Yes.
your 10 ways are ways that they can reconnect or repair that relationship, and I want them to know they can do that and that they should do that because that's
Yes.
gonna help them in so many ways. But sometimes, so much damage or at least enough damage has been done where your teen or young adult is gonna be reluctant of that you changing, because they're gonna be like, "Is this real? Is this can I trust this?" Or whatever, and you just have to keep putting out that effort to repair that relationship, and if you keep doing it in an open, safe way, it is gonna get repaired. You just have to give them time to realize, "Oh, they're not gonna revert back to what was happening before," or they are trying and they are learning, ways of dealing with things, so,
Yeah.
definitely try, even if things have not been good,
Yeah. And
try.
one quick way to do that is to find something that you both really enjoy doing together. You
Mm,
know, and if at first it's like maybe something that your teen enjoys a little bit more than you, okay, lean into that.
mhm,
Eventually you want to really find things that you both like. Maybe you both really like hiking, or you both really like playing tennis or cycling, or, ideally it's something healthy and, life-giving in some way. But it can be like watching a funny movie, or,
mhm.
some connection point that you really enjoy doing so you can get back to the fun. Because let's get
Yes.
back to the family fun. When they were little, you did some fun things, and it's like, let's get
Mhm.
back to that. How can parents and teens play? Let's play.
Yeah.
I mean, bust out the magnetic tiles, bust out the Legos, like build something. That's great. We have these
Mhm.
amazing Grimm's Montessori wooden block sets that we'll have forever because they're so fun. The bright colors, they're this art that you can make art and put it away. You
Mhm.
make something amazing as a family, put it away, and that's just fun.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I love that. My daughter and I used to have dance parties because we both
Yes.
love music, so we would just blare some music and dance for a while, and it was like that was our time, and we spent a lot
Oh,
of time in the car together because she was involved in things where we had to travel to them, which I
uh,
think a lot of families probably experience now too, where they have to take them to these competitive things or practices or whatever, and we would listen to audiobooks, we would listen to soundtracks, we would sing, we
yeah.
just always had, like, those times or you could just talk. When you're in the car, there's, not a lot of things, and I mean, headphones were probably some kids were using them at that time. She's a millennial, so, like, there was a time where not everyone had headphones in all the time,
Yeah.
and so, I didn't have to fight that, so I think that's a whole new thing. People will have to just, like, figure out how let's not have our headphones in for 30 minutes so that we
I know
can talk or sing
we
or
really nowadays as parents, we have to be okay with creating boundaries around technology because
Mhm.
we want to save their brains. Like we just don't
Yeah.
you can't have headphones in all the time. It's not good for your brain. It's not good
Mhm.
for your focus, for the neural pathways, the way they're being developed when you're just constantly looking at something so close to you instead of taking in the whole world. I mean, so much of
Yes.
depression in teens is simply because they're not looking far away. They're not looking up. They're like art, we're
Mhm.
designed to take in the world. And when we only take in a
Mhm.
very small part of it all the time, our brains aren't developed correctly. And that like
Yeah.
physicality is leading to depression and anxiety. When it's like,
Mhm.
oh, guys, we don't need the screen. Go outside and run around, shoot baskets. Like as parents nowadays, we have to be so conscious of like,
Mhm.
okay, go outside and play. Draw me something. I tell my kids, I'm like, can you draw me something? Because then they get
Yeah.
excited about, my kids are little still. They're 10 and
Yeah.
6, but they get
Good.
excited about drawing me something because I've asked them to.
Yeah.
It's like we just have to be so intentional because yeah, culture
Mhm.
will suck them into the screen.
Yeah. Well, you have something else special for my audience that you're gonna offer. So tell us about that.
Yes, the Parent Teen Blueprint. I am looking for parents and teens that want to take my course for free. I'm going to give it to you because it's in a beta testing space right now. It'll eventually be a $3,000 course, but I want to give you the course. It's 6 modules and it's going to help you connect with your teen and it's going to help parent and teen fall in love with their lives again, fall in love
Mm.
with each other again. It's like one thing I always want to tell parents is like, be in love with your teen. Like, they're
Mhm.
being such a pain. I know. Like there's so much energy resistance. There's so much going on, but it's like I really I want to help you let all of that go.
Mhm.
Connect back to this soul that you brought into the world and that soul's
Yes.
genius, innate genius, not what you think they should do or what you think they should say or how you think they should dress or how you think they should look, but their unique expression. And just fall in love, not to say that that you're not, but really connecting into that love that you have with your teen. And so there's all these exercises and writing exercises and ideas for connection. And I would just love for the people listening to this to take the course and let me know what you think for free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that so much. And I'll put all the information on how to get that in the show notes and
Yes.
in other places, newsletter, everything where
Yes.
people are going to get this information. They'll be able to tap into that. That sounds wonderful. And it is such a wonderful gift because they can be helping you create the best product too, because with the
Yes.
feedback, you'll be able to revise if needed to, or like come up with
Yes.
something new, like, oh, we need another module about this. So
Yes.
um, I hope
Thank you.
that they
That's
take you up
really
on that
perfect.
and let you know what they think. Sometimes I'm like, "Hey, let me
Yes.
know what you think," and I don't hear anything. So I hope you get to hear from them.
Yeah,
Well,
I
I'm so
appreciate all of
glad that
that.
yeah, I'm so glad that you were here today. This is all just fascinating stuff. I love learning new things, and I love my families to find out more about all the people in this world that can help them. There's a lot of us out here trying to help the teens and their families, and I just want my families to know who are they and how do I get a hold of them. So thank you for being one of those people.
Thank you for being one of those people. I appreciate all that you do as well, Cynthia. Thank you. It was great to be here and great
Oh
to meet
yes, well
all
thank you.
listening.
Thank you.